Okay, how to make granny squares. So put the end over your two fingers and hold it. Make an X. Turn it over. Hold that. Go under this one and over that one and pull it through. Twist it around to make a loop. And then here's your yarn that's coming off your skein, right? And you pull that and pull it through. Okay, here's your loop, and you're going to go over the side that has two. All right, so we're going to chain two more. So we have a chain 3 to start, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet. If you don't know how to double crochet, yarn over, go into the loop, yarn over, pull it up, yarn over, and pull it through 2. Now, if you are new to crochet, here's the trick to not being frustrating. Hook it, twist it around, because it goes in a much easier down here where there's a little V space. So that was the double crochet. I'll show you again, but you're going to chain 2 in between. 1, 2. Yarn over in the magic ring. Take the yarn and pull it up. Yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. That's 1 double crochet. And this, when you put 3 double crochets together, that is called a granny cluster. We're going to do 4 granny clusters. This first chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. So that's a granny cluster. That's a granny cluster. Then we chain 2. And we do 4 all together with chain 2s in between. Just tighten this up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, chain 2. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters of 3 with chain 2s in between. So now we're going to pull our magic ring close, and that's what makes it a magic ring. Now you're going to pretend that the top of this 3 chain is the top of a double crochet, and then pull through, slip stitch to join. That is your first piece of your granny square. Cut it, pull it through to lock it off. Now here's a trick that I do. You can do a duplicate stitch, which would make it so you don't have a knot here, but it takes a lot of time. You have to go get your needle, thread it up, all that. And so how I hide this knot is much faster. I go like this. Take your hook, go in the next stitch from front to back, hook the yarn and pull it through. Do you see what that does? It hides the knot in the back. And then you just go into the next stitch from back to front and pull it back to the back side. So that is a way you can hide that knot really quickly, and so you don't have to stop and get your needle and all of that stuff. Next, I'm going to do the white. Do a slip stitch, put it through. We're going to start in any chain space. When you're doing granny squares, you're always working into the chain spaces, not into the stitch tops. So here is how I do a standing double crochet, which is better because normally they'll have you go in here and do chain 3 like we did the first time, but the chain 3 doesn't look exactly the same as the double crochets. But the first time you don't have any choice, it's the only way you can do it. But from now on, you can do a standing double crochet and it looks exactly like a double crochet because it is one. So fold your yarn here, yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up a loop, and now yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. See, now you have a standing double crochet, and if you pull that to the side and crochet over it, it hides that knot in the back. So now we're going to do in every corner. Now this applies to the whole granny square. Okay, and you'll notice I'm kind of going over this one just to hide it. If you crochet over stuff as you go, you don't have to spend a bunch of time weaving in ends later. This one you can't yet. I'll tell you why later. Okay, so in every corner you're going to do granny cluster, chain 2, granny cluster. So that's 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Later it'll have ones that aren't a corner on the next row. If it's not a corner, you just put in 1 granny cluster. So it's super easy to remember. This is a corner, so I'm going to go 3 double crochet, chain 2. Oops, I forgot to put my end in there. This is how I like to, this one I crochet over, but this one I like to just flip it around. Chain 1, flip it around, chain 2. That just brings that end up in the stitches, hides it and kind of secures it so that I can cut it off and not have to go back and weave in ends later. See, now I have twisted that up all in here, so I feel like it is secure and I can cut it off, and now I don't have to go back and do that one later. So here's our granny corner. 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet. I'm going to go all around that. Now here's another trick I do for hiding these. If you just lay down and go over it like this in granny squares, you're going to have this here and it can show at times. So what I do is I pull it to the front, through the next stitch, and then to the back. And that way, now you see it's hidden in the stitch. And now I'll go over it on this part. Three. Now we have on second corner. We're gonna do that again. This one, I'm feeling pretty good. It was all in there, so I'm gonna cut that off now. And we don't have to deal with ends anymore. And see, we don't have to go back later and fix it. It's wonderful. All right, so same thing. Each corner, you're gonna do 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. And you notice there's no chaining in between the corners. It's only, the only time you ever chain on this is those 2 chains in the corner. Now I'm going to connect it right here to the first, or that first double crochet I made with a slip stitch. Okay, and you finish it by doing a slip stitch in this first double crochet, just like before. Cut it, tie it off, and do my little trick. Forward and back, and the knot is now tucked behind. Okay, next color, I'm going to do the same thing as you've been doing. You're going to put granny in the corners. You're going to put granny cluster, chain 2, granny cluster, and on the sides you're just going to put a granny cluster. I'm going to crochet over this end so that it goes away. Same, here's my standing double crochet. Hold it, wrap, go in, pull up through 2, oops, and through 2, put the end over here to hide the knot. And I flip it around to get it stuck in there. I don't flip the white though because it would show. times. I'm gonna cut it. So I did a corner, 3, 2 chain, 3 double. Now I'm just going to do a granny cluster in here, no chaining, and just 1. So just 3 double crochets in the side ones, and we're just going to keep going around like that, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. It's exactly the same, and then that is how you do the granny. Okay, so I have my granny square made. Now, I said we were going to talk about this. This is our magic circle. I like to leave a little hole. If you want to pull it all the way closed, you can. I think it looks cute with a little hole, but we don't want this to get bigger and bigger like when you wash it and such. So we are going to take a needle and tie a little knot and then hide that end in so that it won't open anymore from, you know, because even just a little bit of pulling, you can see it opens more. Make it however you like it, but then we want to tie a knot with the needle and then feed it back through here to hide the end so that we know that that is secure. And then here's your last one that you obviously can't crochet over. So again, just thread your needle and put it down through here. Let me show you this one since it's so short. I have another trick for that. Obviously it's better if I didn't cut it off so short, but I did. So this is what you do. Instead of trying to thread it and then trying to, you know, get it in there, that's not going to work. So what I do is I first put the needle in where I want it to go. Then thread the eye, and this is an easy way to thread so that it doesn't split on you. Take it here and bend it over in half, and that way you push it through and you've got all the plies, it doesn't separate, and now you can pull it through easily. And what I like to do to lock it is I'm going to go back 1 stitch and then back through some more. That kind of makes it locked. And I'm just putting it under these. And even the really short yarn can be threaded this way. There we go. And now that is done. And then this one, yeah, I like it right about there. So I'm going to just, again, take a little stitch to secure it. And I'm even going to tie a knot in this because I really don't want that to open up anymore. I learned that lesson the hard way. I did a whole blanket that was so beautiful, and after washing a few times, the holes were getting all big, and some were big and some were small, and that was not fun. So I'm actually tying a knot in that one, and then I'm gonna just feed the ends through. Again, taking a little back stitch, why not? And hiding the ends. It off. And there we have our granny square.